never leave you stranded on an e-moto again.
We're back for another one. Everybody loves a good budget bike review, right? So what we have here is the Happy Run G300 Pro. This is simply another bike I saw online that was coming in at a very competitive budget price. It had a few components that really kind of made me wonder if they're gonna hold up, so I decided to give it a review. It's hot in my shop today, so we're gonna open it up and we're gonna move through this quick so we can get it outside and get it in the dirt. So here she is, the Happy Run G300 Pro. So my first impression, this bike actually looks much better in person than how it looked when I first saw it online. And if you're anything like me, the first thing you notice, the bicycle crank arms. We'll get to those. First, let's go over the specs of this bike so we know what's inside. This bike comes for around 2,500 bucks, I think $25.99. Most bikes come stock with a 60 volt or smaller. Everybody upgrades to 72 volts. This bike comes 72 volt, 30 amp hours right out of the box. The motor is a 6,500 watt motor. The motor is in the rear wheel, not under the rider, which I'm actually normally used to. I've never ridden a bike with the rear wheel motor. We have a 19-inch front wheel, a 17-inch rear wheel. We have a headlight, we have a tail light, we have dual piston hydraulic brakes. As far as size, let's actually get this off the stand. All right, I am definitely not a tall guy. I stand at about 5'6" with my boots on. My first impression sitting on the bike, it's tall. I mean, my feet are flat, like I can get both feet on flat, but it feels tall and short. So the wheelbase is not that big. Seat is around 33 inches high. Bars a little iffy. They got quite the bend to them. They feel high. I like a lower front end. I like riding tracks. That's my main thing. So I like being over the front in that aggressive position a little more. These bars definitely have you sitting a lot more upright. So it's gonna be a little more comfy. So we'll start out with this, and like any build, the first thing we change is like bars and grips. We'll see how this first ride goes and see if I change those during this video. Now, components of the bike. One of the first things I did notice was this rear swing arm. It is very thin. It's not like your typical thick square tubing. It's almost just looks like flat bar bent into shape. That's gonna be interesting. I imagine anyone who is buying this bike is probably not intending to ride it as hard as I'm about to ride this thing. The hardware, you got your linkage for the swing arm here, and then your axle hardware. They got big silver nuts like they came straight from the hardware store, but again, budget build, right? So we can't expect all the fancy hardware there. The actual frame, it's the same kind of material as on the swing arm. Suspension actually seems much better than I expected it to be. Now, let's talk about these cranks. We have 125 millimeter crank arms, a very short crank arm. I don't know what they really intended by putting cranks on this bike. Maybe it's a feature to be able to kind of trick the cops thinking it's more of a legal bike, because even though I don't know all the exact rules, I think e-bikes are not meant to be able to go over 20 miles an hour to make them legal. So I'm assuming these cranks are purely aesthetics. But they obviously work, but I'm thinking it's more of just to be able to trick the eye. All right, let's fire this thing up. So we have 1 mile on the bike already. I have not ridden this bike. I assume this 1 mile is from the factory. I think we went over the gist of everything. I'm melting in the shop. Let's go. There she is. So the test we're gonna be looking for, the one thing that everyone wants to know is how fast do these things go, right? We're gonna get a top speed test. We're gonna get a wheelie and control setting test. I really found out after owning a bunch of different e-motos, the controller means so much, especially if you're trying to learn wheelies. We're gonna look for the actual capability, see what this bike can actually handle out on my personal pit bike track. And then lastly, battery. We're gonna see how long this thing can go. Oh no. We are at full charge, at least the battery says it's fully charged. There's no percentage, but on my little power meter over here, it looks like we're down 1 bar. So if it's not at 100, I can only imagine it's at like maybe 90. So we're just gonna go with what we got now. It is currently 112. We're just gonna ride until the battery goes down. Head to the street, we'll get a top speed test. Before we even play with the throttle, let's just see what these cranks do. I'm gonna start on the lowest setting. So, oh my gosh, it's a big gear. Ugh. Okay, if I just start pedaling, nothing happens. I'm gonna give it a little gas. Okay, I gave it just a little throttle to get it going. And now I can feel the
cranks are actually assisting. Okay. No okay, that's as fast. My legs can't keep up now. Oh, it's got a bit of a delay on when that switches off. I'm gonna put my actual speedometer on here so we can have something to compare to. All right, I'm super sweaty right now, and these leathery grips are not very grippy. We're on miles per hour. Hopefully you guys can see that. With it's sunny day, so we got a reflection. We have two devices, so we got the stock screen, then we got my iPhone that's running off GPS, right? Let's just go all the way up. You got a single front sprocket, single back sprocket, so there's no changing of the gears for pedaling. So if I want to get this, oh, there it goes, okay. If you can pedal enough, it assists itself and it takes off. Okay, so we know what the cranks do. Dead stop, zeroed out, level 5, 1, 2, 3, go. Not much of a jump. 10, 12. It feels smooth at speed. 40 here, 38, 42. I'm 180, 185 pounds. So maybe put a lighter rider on here. We're going a little down here, we'll try it again. But maybe a little lighter rider, you can go faster. And whether you're pedaling or twisting the throttle, the motor just goes. At speed like this, I don't know if you can see my handlebars moving. It's very little. Okay, I said 48, 47, 48. So, back to the wheelbase thing. The front end looks pretty steep, you know? It's like normal dirt bikes look a little more raked out. I definitely could notice the front end is steep. If the front end's steeper, the front end's twitchier. When I was at speed, I noticed a little, it wasn't bad whatsoever. At no point did I feel out of control. I just wanted to address it was there. There was a little bit of movement, so. You know, we're at 2.6 miles. Let's put on Strava and let's see how accurate that is too. Oh, we're gonna do wheelie. On the gas, off the gas, there's a little delay. As soon as I chop the throttle, it goes a little further, which is very normal for like e-mountain bikes. You know you order way too much when the UPS man waves every time it goes by. On an e-mountain bike, when you pedal and you stop pedaling, it goes about another 3 feet. I'm noticing this is very similar. All right. Oh, nope. So I was able to, I just got the front end up, but if you let off at all, it keeps going. So let's say we get up to our balance point in a wheelie, and then you don't want to go anymore, and then you let off the throttle, it's gonna keep going, and you're gonna have to be on your brake or you'll loop out, right? So then you gotta control it where you gas it and you gotta let off. Yeah, I'm not even gonna get into that. The wheelie test, it doesn't pass the wheelie test in my book. All right, let's go out back. Actually, I need to put this in my pocket so I don't break my phone. It doesn't have that torque to really yank the front end up or have a really strong start off the line. But once you do get up to speed, like it goes pretty well. Like once you're at speed and hit it, it pulls. It's not like too much of a drag. I'm noticing a little bit of kind of clanking in the suspension. I mean, it's a budget bike, right? You can't expect it to have like crazy dampening and rebound and compression. Braking is really nice. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing those jumps. You know, I don't know much about these rear wheel motors. I don't know if maybe that's part of like the delay in the chop of the throttle. I'm just gonna ride it for a minute and I'm gonna get used to it, and then we'll talk more. Oh yeah, and about the battery. So there's 5 little bars on the battery. We just lost 1 bar. So I'm gonna assume we started at 85%, let's just say 85% battery. So we have 4 bars left, 20% per bar. So that'll be our judgment. So now we're just gonna do some trail riding. The crank arms are super short, so it doesn't feel like my feet are like super displaced compared to like a normal dirt bike. I just autopilot go into like I'm riding a dirt bike, right? So my legs do feel like they're a little off. There are spider webs everywhere, but it's not bad at all. I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't mind seeing this bike with just normal pegs. I definitely can't say right off the start that this bike would replace like a pit bike, like motocross style riding bike. If you're just out cruising some single track like this, obviously, I mean, don't be out your local mountain bike trail riding this thing. If you're just cruising around, we got enough rough terrain right now that I'm pretty confident in. If you're just out to have a good time, and whew, see, that scared me going through those trees just then. That scared me because I went to chop the throttle instead of for those trees, and the throttle kept going a little bit. So you got to be aware of that. I think we could jump. We're gonna jump something. Give me a couple laps, I'll be able to jump that. Let's see if we go around here. This is the pit bike track. Oh, it doesn't. Okay, I gotta get a little more of a run. Doesn't quite have the pull for that. You know, I might actually switch bars. Just I'll ride a little more, switch bars. I think I can enjoy it a little better with more of a motocross style bend. So let's see if we can jump that double. All right. A long run at it. Over the roller. Oh, I don't know if I can. All right, gas on the gas. I'm not letting off. I do not feel, I don't feel confident. Okay, I got a cheater line. Going around that turn is really hard. That's kind of uphill. So I think if I just go right through here, I can get a straight run at it. All right, let's go. Come on. Maybe I pedal. Nope, that's not doing anything. Oh, we're good. We got it this time. We got it. Yep. Whoa. Whew. Back to the throttle. I jumped out a little nose high because I was holding the gas, right? But I let off at the normal spot. I would let off jumping that double. But if I'm letting off halfway up the lip or right at the top of the lip, the motor keeps pulling, right? So if the motor keeps pulling, the wheel's spinning, keeping that front end up in the air. So that's another thing. You can't, you'd have to really learn the timing to be able to gas it off lips. But if I can get my speed up to it, I can confidently let off at the bottom and roll off and get that jump pretty dialed. So let's try that one more time. More speed. Oh, bar slipped. Oh, bar just pulled back. That's a sign. You know what? You see, they're just kind of a big back sweep. I'm gonna go grab another set of bars and see if it makes this bike ride any different. All right. If you can give yourself enough of a run up, it can get to speed. Just takes a couple seconds. All right, we're gonna do the one that I had to get that run up for. Out of the turn.
Missed it.
We got the cranks, right? So if you ride it like a bicycle, when you hit the jump, use the throttle to get the speed up, but once you get to the lip and let off the throttle and just kind of bunny hop like a bicycle, it jumps pretty good. So jumping, you can jump it. It doesn't jump like a motocross style bike would jump. That checks off our capability. We're down to 3 bars. We just drain the battery, see how much time we can get out of this. We started at 112, it's 2:45 now. I did stop for about 30 minutes to change the bars and eat lunch. We'll say we got a good hour of riding in so far. So we're at 9 miles. I'm just gonna take it out and go do some exploring and see how far the battery will take us. Back to it. All right. Let's just go cruise the road for a little bit, burn down some mileage. We're at 12.5. Strava says 10.5. We still got 3 bars. How often does the cop shout out to you just to say, hey, when you're on an electric bike? Small town living, I love it. Let's keep going. I'm just gonna ride the road fully pinned and just see where we get. Don't mind me, officers, out here pedaling my bicycle 40 miles an hour uphill. Oh, it's the first time seeing 50. All right, coming up to the end of this road. Just over 17 miles. I have not let off the throttle for, almost made it to 5. I had like 2.5 bars. It was going from 2 to 3 bars on my last stop, but like I said, I just held it wide open, up and down hills, full speed for nearly 5 miles straight. We're at 1 bar left. I'm about 6 miles from home, and we've gone a total of, what's Strava say? We've now gone 14.8 miles. What was it, plus 2.5, so around, let's say 17. We're close. Anyway, I'm just confusing myself. We started with 1 mile on here, so we've gone 16 for sure. Now let's go home. And we're going wide open. So looking back at this ad, it says up to 50 miles per hour, so that's pretty spot on. Now, up to 70 miles. I'm assuming that 70 miles does not mean how I've been riding this. I've been on max power, full speed. Oh, battery just started blinking. It's the first I've seen that. Oh man, I hope I get home. Okay, if I let off the gas, the screen has enough power to run. But if I'm on throttle, the screen is freaking out. Oh no, we're like 2 miles from home. The bike is like jumping and everything. That's it, I'm full gas going 17, 18 miles per hour. Guys, we just found our answer to the question, why do we have cranks? So we don't get stranded. The Happy Run will never leave you stranded on an e-moto again. It's gonna be a long pedal home. The cranks work good for a second, but oh, it is for a professional rider. Oh, we got some juice, Okay, we got enough right now. As long as you put a little power into it, it is jumping so bad, like getting little bursts of energy. But we're not stranded, people. I would love a neighbor to look out the window and think, is that guy pedaling a dirt bike? Dirt bikes aren't meant to have pedals. Budget bike are top of the line bikes. I just enjoy riding new bikes. It's fun just seeing what all's out there, you know? And no matter what your style of riding is, there's a company out there for you. And I can't say that this one might be the one for a motocross style rider, but there's a lot more riders out there than motocross style riders, right? All right, let's see if we got any more gas in us. Okay, it's moving a little bit. As soon as I changed these handlebars, it was a complete game changer. The bike actually feels much more of a normal bike now. We're back. Well, the pedals actually came in handy. We did not get stranded when we drained the battery dead. In no way did I think this video was gonna end in the position where we actually had to use the cranks that I thought was purely aesthetic. Well, overview of the Happy Run G300 Pro. If I'm gonna do a 0 out of 10, I feel like a 0 out of 10 is not even really a good scale to put on any of these bikes unless we're comparing it per discipline, as in what exact style of riding, whether it's motocross style, out cruising the beach, cruising some basic single track, or like cruising urban riding downtown. So there's so many different variables on how people ride these bikes. Me being a majority motocross style rider of these bikes, it's not gonna be my first pick. But for someone who just wants the bike, maybe you just wanna ride off-road, you wanna ride really small stuff, you just want the occasional bike to jump on, cool, maybe this is your bike for you. I do wish they would just go ahead and change the bars to a bar setup like this. I think this bar setup was perfect. This was the ODI McGrath bar. It was probably just a hair lower than the stock bar, much wider, more flat, just felt more of a natural riding position. There's nothing that really failed. You just gotta know what you're buying. A lot of the other bigger name bikes,
that are around this size are 60 volt to 72 volt batteries are more at the $4,000 range. So I don't know exactly what their intent was in what market they wanted to hit with this bike. So to be fair, I'm gonna leave it to your guys' opinion. I mean, you saw what I was able to jump on in the yard. If you want a wheelie bike, this is not the bike for you. I think it's more for the occasional type rider who just likes riding the mix of on-road stuff, a little bit of off-road stuff. Let's put it in your hands. I always answer questions down below. So if you have questions about this bike that might fit your needs, ask them and I'll give you a direct answer on how I feel it might suit your needs depending on your riding style. But the bike didn't fail on me. And until a bike fails, I'm not really gonna knock it. I was able to ride 20 plus miles on this bike. My Strava is right at 21 miles. We were at roughly 85% battery if I had to guess. And we got about a solid hour and a half, hour 45 minutes of straight riding. And that's actual move time, not the stops in between. So we'll wrap it up there. As always, any details you need are in the description below, as well as coupon codes. If you want to get one of these bikes, you can save yourself some money using my code underneath. And until next time, I gotta go inside and cool down because I'm smoked after the end of that ride. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And until the next one, peace.